What happened to the Jurassic Park trilogy? Over the past few years, it's grown beyond 3 movies, but I still think there's a good trilogy in there somewhere. So, where should they have stopped? We're going to talk about it, coming right up. Hey everyone, my name's Austin, and yes, I am rocking my Hobbit shirt with my Middle-earth blanket, my Star Wars blanket, and my Star Wars pillow. And on this channel, we talk about faith and film and everything in between, digging deeper and going further to better understand movies, shows, their characters, and their stories. If that's exciting to you and you're new here, consider subscribing. In this video, we're talking about the Jurassic Park movies, and this trilogy talk will be a little different because we're going to talk about the Jurassic World movies too. But before we get started, tell me your favorite and your least favorite Jurassic Park movie down in the comments below. So just to sum up all the movies real quick, Jurassic Park, the original. Scientists have successfully recreated dinosaurs. An entrepreneur has created a park to keep them in and brings in a preview tour of people to check out the park and see what they think. But after a power outage, the dinosaurs escape and everyone has to figure out a way off this island safely. Then we got The Lost World. Dr. Malcolm from the first movie is back. And he and some others traveled to Site B of Jurassic Park, where the dinosaurs were kept as they were breeded before they were brought to the park. They plan to do some research there, but another group has arrived and they have other intentions. And then we have Jurassic Park 3. A couple people convince Dr. Grant, who's from the first movie, to go back to the island. They claim it's for a survey kind of tour from the air. And then when they arrive, they force him to land and to help rescue their son, who's somehow become trapped there. So that's my real quick just kind of synopsis of the trilogy. Now let's talk about the first film, Jurassic Park. This movie had groundbreaking CGI, a phenomenal, iconic score from John Williams. And the first time I saw this movie, I was still young enough that the velociraptors, they freaked me out. They scared me, I'll be honest. But that's the main reason I still like this movie today. It was something cool. It took something cool like dinosaurs and was able to frighten me with it when I was young. There are also so many iconic shots in this film. You got the gate entrance, the big Jurassic Park words as the doors open and they drive on through. The first dinosaur, Brachiosaurus I think it was, and just the massive size and just everyone is awed by it. You got the T-Rex chase in the rain that night that the dinosaurs escape, and the roar at the end as the banner falls behind the dinosaur. The rippling water in the Jeep, that's just one of my favorite shots in the film. And all those are just a few, there's plenty more. This movie also it taps into so many different genres, adventure, action, some thriller, sci-fi. I mean, I thought it was a horror movie when I was young, and that's why I didn't watch it until I did. This movie also poses an awesome moral question for you to consider. And it comes from Dr. Malcolm. You were so preoccupied with what you could do, you didn't stop to think about what you should do. And that's just a really deep statement. And there's so much to it that you can think about and consider. So with that question, it's a really good one to just ask yourself in a lot of situations. Yes, you could do this, you could do that, but should you? I feel like that's something we really ask ourselves daily. There's so many things that happen to us throughout each day, and you got to make those in-the-moment decisions of, I could do this, I could do that, but what's the right thing? What should I do? And that's where it's important to, seek the counsel of friends, family, your pastor. Definitely pray to God about it and see what He's pressing on your heart to do. And this moral kind of carries throughout all of the films, but I feel like it's definitely strongest in the first one. It comes back a little bit in Jurassic World, both of those films, but I wanted to talk about it here with the first one because I feel like that's where they established it and that's where it was important to talk about it. Now we're moving on to The Lost World. This one gets some sequel hate. It's not as bad as some say, but I mean, look at the first movie. It would have been nearly impossible to create the magic and the spark that first movie had for everyone, audiences and critics alike. It's got its good moments. It's definitely rewatchable. I've seen it plenty of times. It brought back enough from the original movie with some new elements as well. You got Jeff Goldblum. I mean, who wouldn't want more Jeff Goldblum in a movie? And I like that they brought him back because he's one of the few smart characters in this franchise. I mean, right off the bat in the first film, he's like, no, this is stupid. This is a terrible idea. We should leave. And he's still the same way throughout this movie of, no, this is stupid. Why are we here? Why are we doing this? Why are we making these dinosaurs? This is against nature and all these things. We're playing God. I love his personality in this film. Alright, Jurassic Park 3, the one that put the franchise on a hiatus for nearly 15 years. Now, there is one good thing about this movie is that it confirmed that we only should have had 1 and 2. There should have not been a third one. Almost all the characters in this movie are just, they're dumb. They're not thinking like normal humans. There's a lot of them that are annoying. And overall, it's a forgettable film. There's not a lot to remember that's like, oh man, remember this part, remember that shot, remember this action. There's not really much of that. I mentioned we're going to talk about the Jurassic World movies, so here we go. I personally like to think of it as Jurassic Park 3. There's obviously not quite as much depth as the original. The whole military use of dinosaurs plotline is kind of silly, but with Jurassic World, it's a much better motivation to go back to the island than with what Jurassic Park 3 had. The movie in itself is more memorable, it's more exciting, it's definitely a higher quality. There's those familiar story elements that we like, but it's still a new story. Also, one of the things I loved most about this movie is we get to see an operational Jurassic Park. We didn't get to see that in the old films. It never made it to opening and guests coming in. I thought that was a really clever idea that they had. Another thing I like about this movie is it's relatable to our generation. The film in itself, in the movie, dinosaurs, they're not cool anymore. So they go in and they just genetically alter these and make different hybrid forms of dinosaurs. And I feel like our worlds today and our society is similar in that, you know, the things that we found cool back 20 years ago, just even 20 years ago, now they're so mainstream, they're so normal, it's so just a part of life that it's not cool anymore. And we have to do all these things to twist and change and alter these things that we used to enjoy to make them cooler. Chris Pratt's character Owen is similar to Dr. Malcolm in this movie, which I liked. He has the similar outlook of, we shouldn't be doing this. This isn't right. We shouldn't play God. And I like that they brought back those themes again. And then we got Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I had high hopes for this one. The teaser trailer was great, teased just enough, and I was excited for where this movie might go. Unfortunately, the movie it ended up being a mediocre placeholder for the next film that the director wanted to make. I will say, I did enjoy my viewing experience. I got to see this film in Mexico when my wife and I were on a mission trip. We went with a couple of friends of ours, and it was really fun just to see with them, you know, enjoy the action, the laughs, the jokes, that kind of thing. And coming out of the movie, initially, we were talking as we left the theater. I told them I did like it more than I thought, because at that point I had read the reviews and, you know, heard that there was mixed thoughts on it, that kind of thing. But initially, I did like it more than I thought. But then, as I thought about it more and just kind of reflected on it, my views on the film changed. At that point, I just kind of was able to see like how, you know, silly it was. Again, just like Jurassic Park 3, the reasons they have for going back to the island, it's like, Owen, he's, like I said, similar to Dr. Malcolm. Like, no, we shouldn't be involved with this. It's not good. And then 5 minutes later, he's back on the island. And I will give the movie credit. The first 20-30 minutes of the film are really interesting. They're exciting. But their characters are inconsistent from the first movie. And there's really no character development from beginning to end of Claire and Owen's characters. And the story just wasn't as exciting, wasn't as convicting as I hoped it would be. Yes, this franchise asks some great questions. That should versus could, and that whole moral dilemma that these characters go through in each film. So, do you want to continue the conversation? Because I'd love to. Again, tell me your favorite and least favorite of the Jurassic Park movies down in the comments. If you want to dig deeper and go further to explore movies, shows, their characters and their stories, and how we can better apply those to our lives, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of the new videos. And if you want to talk more about trilogies, check out my Planet of the Apes trilogy talk right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.